I gotta say, is your hand still hovering over the panic button? Because the Cleveland Cavaliers annihilated the sorry, quitting, not even worth a playoff spot, 37-win regular season Mickey Mouse team, Miami Heat, the last two games, winning by 80, 90 points combined. They weren't even contest. Listen, the Heat gave the Cavs one good quarter because the Cavs ran out of gas and just started jacking up threes at the end of game two. The Cavs were overall better in this series. They took care of business, and that old Heat culture, that's worth 6 games. No, it's not, because their best player is Bam Adebayo, who at best, in my opinion, on a championship team, is your third best overall player. And once Jimmy Butler left that door, the Heat won 8 out of their last 10 games in the regular season. So what? They were never a matchup for this Cavaliers team. This Cavs team took care of business, and I predict here in about 2-ish hours, they will be getting prepared to face the Indiana Pacers in the second round of the playoffs.
All I can say is sweep you very much. Yes, I made that up today. And I don't care. I am trademarking that, damn it. But I'll tell you what. I am eating my words, because when I saw we were matching up with Miami, I told you this, Brandon. I said Miami was one of the teams I did not want to play.
You flat out said out of all the 4 playing teams, you're like, the one I don't want to play is Miami. And what did I say? The one team I do want to play is Miami.
So, I guess I bought more into the Heat culture than you, which looking back now, what is Heat culture? It's dead. Major changes need to be made in the offseason. I don't know. Pat Riley might need to step aside, honestly. I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. Pat Riley, I think, needs to step aside, because Heat culture is not a thing anymore. And there are going to be all the reports of, does Giannis want out of Milwaukee? Should he go to Miami? We'll get into that later. But you know what? I got to give credit, not to our main guys, Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, even though Jared Allen, that was awesome last night.
Everybody who said the Cavs need to trade Jared Allen, he's a sissy, for a lack of a better term. I'm not going to use the derogatory term, but you know what I'm talking about after last year's playoffs. And who was the first one that said, no, you have to keep Jared Allen if this team's going to be a championship team? Me, because what you saw in this series, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, the defensive freaking player of the year, Evan Mobley. They are the best front court defense in the NBA that you cannot penetrate behind. And when Jared Allen is playing aggressive, when he's scoring, when Evan Mobley knocks down those outside jumpers, this Cavs team is borderline unbeatable.
So I'm not trying to discredit what any of them did, but I gotta give more credit to the reserves, because Sam Merrill played really well in this series, but Ty Jerome went absolutely nuclear in this series. Him and DeAndre Hunter, that is a deadly combo coming off the bench. So again, no disrespect to Evan Mobley or Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen. But to me, the key in this series and the key the rest of the way against Indiana, hopefully Boston. I don't want to push our luck right now and say Oklahoma City or whoever out of the West. It's going to be those reserves, because you know that their opponents are going to try and take away Donovan Mitchell and or Darius Garland. And it's going to be up to guys like Ty Jerome, Sam Merrill, DeAndre Hunter. If Jalen Tyson gets some minutes, which I believe he should, I've liked what I've seen out of
the way. He's played more minutes than Isaac Okoro.
Yeah, I like I said, I just really like Jalen Tyson, what he's shown me in the limited minutes. But Isaac Okoro too, like it's gonna be those depth pieces that are gonna need to come through.
So
I fully believe that.
Josh, we are 45 minutes and 43 seconds into this show. I have had this take since about halftime of Saturday's game 3, and I have not wanted to text you. I have not wanted to say it. I want to get your live reaction to it because I'm about to spill a take that you may or may not like. I don't care what the result of this season ends. I don't even care if the Cavs win the championship. I'm here to say it because I've seen it with my own 2 eyes for not only this playoff run, but for the last few years. In my opinion, at the end of this season, whenever it is, even if the Cavs win the championship, the Cavs should trade Darius Garland.
Huh.
The Cavs offense is better with Donovan Mitchell as a distributor at the point guard and a guy like a Max Strus, a Sam Merrill. I think a Desmond Bane would be like a perfect guy in this offense at the 2. Someone who's good defensively, can shoot the 3. You're not putting much pressure on Mitchell because when did the Cavs struggle? Would have been in this series, specifically in the second half of game 2. It's when Darius Garland is ball hogging the hell out of the ball, jacking up 30-footers and not connecting. I'm not saying Darius Garland's not valuable. Darius Garland's a really good player. Donovan Mitchell and him can play very well together in this Kenny Atkinson system. But this Cavs team can sometimes get into too much isolation ball with him on the court, and he is a defensive liability. And I don't know if it's just coincidence that they beat the hell out of the Heat even more without Garland, but that team I saw with Garland and without Garland, we're a better team without him.
That was the narrative when we had last season with JB Bickerstaff.
Like, scream at me all you want. If you hate it, I'll take it. I'm sticking to that take. I am more strong on that take now, and I know Fitz hates the take, and I'm probably going to get a call here whenever he listens to this, and me and him are going to have at it. But what I saw, I think Darius Garland, I think you could trade him. I think you can get more role players, and I think you can get even more bigger wings and let Mitchell be your point distributor when he is clearly at his best.
Excuse me. Like I said, that was the whole conversation last season with JB Bickerstaff. And we've seen this season, they've been able to work together. And I love the pick and roll of Garland and Allen and then Mitchell and Mobley. I love those 2 sets of pick and rolls. I might have it backwards, but you get what I'm saying. I'll say it like this. I disagree, but I understand what you're saying. The reason I disagree is because of what I've seen on the court when they've been together. They have been able to play off of each other. Though I understand that what you're saying about them going into isolation ball at times, it does make sense. But I feel like if you take one Garland off, Mitchell has had to be a little more ball dominant at times.
Well, has he? Because Jared Allen, Max Strus, and Evan Mobley, they are flying up and down the court. Mitchell hasn't even had to be that aggressive and score when Garland's not been out there.
That part is true. Mitchell's not having to do that at really when Garland is on the floor, though.
Yeah, but that's because Garland is, again, dribbling the hell out of the ball, and then Mitchell has to save him at the end of game 2. Because Garland becomes a ball hog, and he gets hurt, and he starts jacking up threes, and nobody can hit the side of the barn in the 4th quarter, which is the only reason why Miami made it the game, because what's-his-face, Highsmith couldn't miss from 3.
Same with Tyler Hero. So I understand. I don't know. I want to say, I'm going to say it like this. I already said it. I understand, but I disagree. I'll say it like that.
I know you're heated about this, so I'm just going to let you go. Obviously, controversy in game 4 between these two teams.
Yes, I texted this to you guys, and I'm just going to read the exact text that I said. The NBA showed their preferential treatment in today's game 4 between the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons, as that was most definitely a foul. But thankfully, the Minnesota Timberwolves were victorious against the Los Angeles Lakers. That means the T-Wolves are up 3-1 in the series. Hopefully, Minnesota can finish the job to take away part of the NBA's dream matchup narrative. Time to show the league that real basketball wins over rigged storylines. Now, here's the thing. Am I heated about it? Yes, because clearly, you haven't won a home playoff game since 2008. We don't care. We want New York in the second round. Sorry, NBA, but you're not getting the Lakers because they're not coming back to beat the Timberwolves. And you're going to get a second round matchup of Cleveland, Indiana. I'm sorry, but you are. And I feel like if we get Cleveland, Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals, that's one of the NBA's worst nightmares. Granted, they would be the two best teams, but Cleveland and Oklahoma City are not big markets. They're small markets. And the NBA, they can deny it all they want. They even came out with the post-game report saying, a foul should have been called. No, duh.
By the way, they also did it to Luka, by the way, just to be fair. They did it to Luka, the James McDaniels play where Luka goes down and he trips and they call timeout. They said that should have been a foul too. The 2-minute report is bullshit.
Yes, the 2-minute report is bullshit because you're like, well, that doesn't change a fucking thing now, does it?
No. Now this is where I want to talk about this. So more so than the call, I have said the past few years, you've heard me say it, I think you're sick and tired of me saying it, but that the NBA regular season really doesn't matter. That it is, in essence, Mickey Mouse compared to the postseason. And you're seeing it even more this postseason because there have been less foul calls in the NBA this postseason than there have been the last 20 years. They are letting, and that is a fact, you can look it up, they are letting people play. They're letting the fighting go. They're letting the chippiness go. They're letting all the drives, the rim go. So, in essence, was it a foul? Probably. Though the NBA's been inconsistent in the way they've called that in the corner where the guy jumps into. I know they admitted it's a foul. In real time, I'll be honest with you, I was glad that they let it go. And I didn't care who won the game. I just want players to decide the game. I don't want refs to decide the game. That's always been my...
I agree with you on. I agree. Players should decide.
That's always been my stance on it. So unless he got tackled to the ground, I mean, you could clearly tell that he leaned into the contact a little bit to me and tried to draw the foul. So once you get tackled to the ground, like Luka did when he fell to the ground, which I thought, by the way, in real time was a good no call. I didn't have a problem with it, even though they said it was a foul on the 2-minute report. Like, I am in love with the physicality of these playoffs. I think it's great. The refs are swallowing the whistle. And at the end of the day, the Pistons could be up 3-1 in this series, but we all know that coaching is the biggest difference of running the series. That if it wasn't for J.B. Bickerstaff choking his brains out and Jalen Brunson being an incredible player down the stretch, this series could be the complete opposite. The Pistons are a nice story. Who cares? I mean, yeah, JB, you got jobbed. You really did not deserve to win the game anyhow.
I mean, I'll give credit to Karl Anthony Towns. He made some big shots down the stretch.
He's been good in Game 3 and Game 4. When they get him going easily, he can be a very productive player. In Game 2, when he doesn't get his touches early, he can really struggle. Like I told you the last 2 weeks, I know Orlando got a game on Boston. It happens. We both expect Boston to close out Orlando tonight. We both expect the Knicks to close out Detroit tonight. I don't know if this series between the Knicks and the Celtics goes to 6 games. I don't. I may give the Knicks 1 game, but I'm leaning towards a sweep because I don't think the Knicks can shoot with Boston at all.
So it's probably going to be us against the Pacers in the second round. I do think that series goes to a game 7. I know.
Wow.
I really do. Indiana has given us a lot of trouble this season, and they're going to be a tough team.
But again, so did Miami in the regular season, and look what happened. I mean, that's my takeaway. You know what the Pacers are, Josh? The Pacers are a poor man's version of us, with less players and less skill quality players. I think the Cavs overall, if you look at that series, Mitchell, Mobley, maybe Halliburton's your third best player, and I think Jared Allen, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, and maybe Garland are like mixed in as who could be the fourth or fifth best player on any given night. I think the Cavs are the better overall talented team. I think they're just better than Indiana. I think they'll be more physical than Indiana because all Indiana wants to do is shoot the 3. We will go inside on Indiana because even their big shoot a lot. That's the advantage the Cavs will have. I think it will be a tougher series than Miami. At worst, I think it goes 6. I think there is real potential. The Eastern Conference before the finals doesn't even see a game 6.
So right now, I guess we'll just get into this. Milwaukee is up by 10 against the Pacers in game 5, 42-32. With about 3.5 to go in the second quarter. By the way, best wishes to Damian Lillard. That's a tough injury. I don't know what to make of the Milwaukee Bucks, though. Even if they find a way to win tonight and force it back to Milwaukee for a game 6, I don't see them winning this series.
I know what to make of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Rebuild.
Yeah, I don't know what they would do with Damian Lillard. Maybe you can trade him after he's injured. They need to get rid of Doc Rivers. They need to trade Giannis. I think Houston's the likely landing spot for me. You get Jalen Green and maybe a Reed Shepard and a bunch of picks. And yeah, this team is done. They are almost Denver Nuggets-esque, though Denver has better role players that haven't broken down the way Milwaukee players have. Milwaukee made a desperate attempt, which was one of our first shows at Championship Rings, if you remember, Josh, was Damian Lillard coming over from Portland to Milwaukee, and we both said, hey, Dame, Giannis, if they're healthy, they're a perennial championship contender. And, well, they weren't healthy. And now their roster is full of old, aging players. They don't have a lot of depth. Indiana's much younger, running up and down the court on them. As great as Giannis is, it's basically pretty much 1v5 out there. And in my opinion, to answer the question on the screen, this will be Giannis's last game in Milwaukee. If Giannis had any freaking balls at all, and I'm going to say it, to save his legacy, ask for a trade.
Yeah. The one way to go back to the Miami Heat discussion, what if he goes to Miami?
I don't think they're trading him in conference. I don't think this is a Luka situation. I think it will become very public if he wants out. And I think that Milwaukee will dictate where he goes. I don't know if he has a no-trade clause or not, but I think Milwaukee will tell him. I would assume he does. He's Giannis. I would tell him we are not trading you in the conference.
But if he has a no-trade clause, he can be the one that says, no, I don't want to go there.
Well, I'll give you any Western Conference team you want. Oklahoma City all the way down to Sacramento. Which team do you want?
He's not going to go to OKC. I don't think the Thunder would do that.
I'm just saying, Theo. Oh, wait a minute. You don't think the Thunder would do Jalen Williams and maybe shed Holmgren for Giannis? I would.
Really?
Yes. I would.
Houston makes much more sense to me. Because Houston is getting punked right now against Golden State.
They are. We're about to get to that series.
Yeah. I don't. It's looking more and more. Actually, I'm just going to say it. It's not looking like that 2021 championship run for the Bucks. Total fluke.
I said it at the I do. I said it was the weirdest finals. It was the Suns and the Bucks.
Yeah, like it was. The Eastern Conference Finals was Atlanta against Milwaukee.
And Milwaukee, yeah. That was the year where Ben Simmons refused to shoot. And Giannis was great in Game 6. Chris Middleton, by the way, won them Game 3. You remember that clutch shot? And that was the year coming off COVID where the finals was in July.
That's true. You're right. Yeah. So there almost should be an asterisk next to that championship.
Well, it was a 72-game season. I mean, they were the best team. I think they were the 1 seed throughout the season, so I'm not going to say that. But it was a lightning in a bottle. Them and the 2019 Toronto Raptors are going to be 2 of the biggest one-off championships we'll ever see.
That I fully agree with.
And Denver could be heading in that direction, by the way. We'll see about Denver, but if they only win 1 championship with this current group, does that become a one-off?
It already feels like a one-off. They freaking fired their head coach.
Well, but they're at least tied 2-2 and fighting in a series with the Clippers. And many people think they're a good team.
That was one of the craziest endings I have ever seen.
I agree with you, and I think no matter what, that series is going 7.
Yeah, that series is going to a Game 7. It can't end in Game 6. No way. These 2 teams are way too evenly matched. But to answer the question on the screen, Milwaukee's up 10 right now. Last I checked, 45-35. I would assume Giannis is the leading scorer for the Bucks. Well, now it's 46-39. I stand corrected.
Okay, so they're up 7.
Yes. Giannis right now, he has 8. AJ Green is actually the leading scorer for the Bucks with 12.
Would not have thought that.
Bobby Portis with 7. Gary Trent Jr. with 8. Kevin Porter Jr. with 2. Jericho Sims has 2 points. Brooke Lopez has 2. And Kyle Kuzma has 5.
All right, let's get into this Rockets-Golden State series because the Rockets are the 2 seed. The Warriors are the 7, though Golden State was favored in the series. I picked Golden State to win the series in 6. The funny thing is, we'll get into this Rockets-T-Wolves series in a second. I feel like the Lakers T-Wolves. I feel like these series should be very similar to where Golden State and the Lakers are the veteran teams. Houston and Minnesota are the young teams, even though Houston did get to the Western Conference Finals last year. I suppose that's the difference. Yeah, why am I getting these 2 series confused? It's been a long night here on Championship Rings. Bottom line is the Rockets, who are playing the Warriors, are too young. I had a flashback to the 2019 NBA Finals last night when Fred VanVleet got paid off that Finals. It was going absolutely crazy and trying to carry his way the Rockets to win Game 4. But the dagger was in them when they didn't win the last night, especially. How about Draymond Green? Up to Draymond Green things again, right? Poking the bear and Şengün. But they didn't win Game 3 when Golden State didn't have Jimmy Butler. That was a real detriment to them because at least they could have been tied 2-2 here going back to Houston. I think they'll get Game 5. I absolutely think a lot like Game 2, they'll blow Golden State out in Game 5. And then in Game 6, the Warriors will probably win a close one at the Chase Center.
Yeah. The Warriors, if it is Warriors Timberwolves in the second round, that's going to be a really fun series. And as of right now, I don't know who I would favor in that in that
I
matchup.
would favor Minnesota in that series because they're a lot younger. And like I said, they do have the experience that Houston did not have. And I don't know if Golden State could stop Anthony Edwards in that series. Great as Jimmy Butler is, Jimmy's been hurt. He's been inconsistent. And a lot like the Lakers, their detriment to the series is they don't have a big. Neither does Golden State, really.
Yeah, but don't underestimate Draymond Green because Draymond's defense at the end of that game,
Fantastic.
especially against Şengün, Draymond's one of the greatest defensive players I have ever seen. I'm not saying he is.
Draymond is an anomaly. He's the one player in this league where you're like, he's an all-star and he scores 4 points a game.
Yep. He's going to walk into the Hall of Fame, no problem.
And Draymond Green is the perfect warrior. He is perfect for that system. If he played anywhere else, Lakers, Thunder, Cavs, even though I love him on the Cavs for his antics, Celtics, I don't think he would be this good. I don't. I think he is the perfect warrior. He is perfect with Steph. He does all of the dirty work for them. He'll even bring the ball up occasionally. He's just an annoying pest who will get in your ear. And I don't know if you saw this last night. It looks like even the trash talk was rubbing off Jimmy Butler because he called Fred VanVleet a BITCH at the free throw line. The Warriors, like the funny thing is, right, we talked about it at the beginning of the year. When they got off to that hot start, you thought it was sustainable. I thought they would pull back. They actually pulled back. Then they get Jimmy Butler, and all of a sudden they go from one of the worst teams in the league, barely making the play-in tournament, to they're a legit threat here. And some people were even predicting them before the playoffs started to make a Western Conference Finals appearance.
I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being them against Golden State. Or I'm sorry, them against Oklahoma City. But I got to tell you what, if it ends up being Golden State, Minnesota, Steph versus Ant-Man, oh, come on. That is must-see TV.
This is the one series that I admittedly think I might have gotten wrong. Anthony
a lot
Edwards,
of people probably got this one wrong. I did not have the Timberwolves going up 3-1. But I'll tell you what. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Ant-Man is on a mission. Do you remember how Ant was talking all that smack to Kevin Durant during their first-round series against Phoenix last year?
Yes, I do.
He's doing it again against LeBron and the man who eliminated him in the Western Conference Finals last year, Luka. Ant-Man is going to work. But the guy who I think is being the difference maker in this series, a lot of people are going to say Jaden McDaniels because of his defense and what he's doing. I'm actually going with the guy who was traded to Minnesota for Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle. Like, he is going right at the undersized Lakers. He is parking his butt down low. He is driving to the basket. He's pulling up for the mid-range shot. I think Julius Randle has made the difference for the Timberwolves in this series. Not to discredit what Ant-Man has done, because he's been awesome. But Julius Randle, for me, has been the key.
Well, I agree that Julius Randle, who typically folds in the playoffs, probably played the best playoff series of his life. Josh, for the second straight year, these damn Minnesota Timberwolves are trying to ruin my Western Conference pick for the NBA Finals. And these damn Minnesota Timberwolves are doing it led by one guy off the bench who is consistently screwing me. And his name is Naz Reid. Are you fucking kidding me? Here we go again with this guy just casually knocking down 5, 6, 7 threes a game. Like it doesn't matter. Oh, who cares? Let me just shoot these wide open guys. Let me just run guys off the 3-point line. Let me just make the big steal at the end of the game. Like Naz Reid has been that glue guy that has done everything for the T-Wolves along with Jaden Daniels. So I think Naz Reid at a bigger level. And if you would have told me that Anthony Edwards, who I thought going into it was the third best player in the series, if he becomes the best player in the series, that's how the T-Wolves win, and that's what has happened. I am not shocked by the fact that LeBron is playing his ass off at age 40, 45 minutes a game, making defensive plays, steals, and blocks like he's 30 years old. What I am most shocked at so far in this series is I thought going into this postseason, Luka was going to be on a mission to prove everybody in Dallas, including Nico Harrison, wrong about trading him. And Luka has been, for me, very disappointing in this series because he has disappeared at times, especially late down the stretch. LeBron is 40 years old, putting up 30 points and 38 in game 3 in playoff games. I am not going to put any of this on LeBron James. He should not have to do this at 40 years old, what he's doing, playing at a level of age 30 right now. There's a reason why they got Luka, for him to be the guy on the offensive end of the floor. And when the Lakers have been great this year, I know they're undersized, but they have at times played great defense this year. And at times when Austin Reeves gotten going, they've been very good and borderline on some boards a third score. And Luka and Austin Reeves on the offensive end have not shown up. And really nobody besides LeBron has showed up on the defensive end.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make any substitutions the entire second half.
Because J.J. Redick is saying, I don't trust any guys on the bench. I mean, that's what he is saying. He's saying, I trust 5 guys. And I'll say this. I think they get through game 5. I think game 6 is going to be a war in Minnesota. And maybe it's just, I want to stick to my guns and say Lakers in 7 because I think the Lakers can still do this. I don't think they're dead by any means, though I think if they do win game 6, be very wary of a game 7 because of what Minnesota did to Denver last year in game 7 and game 1 of this very series in LA. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're dead. Maybe again, it's art overhead. I don't want to see LeBron and the Lakers go home early. As great as Minnesota is, I don't know if this Minnesota run is a little bit of a Mickey Mouse run if they got a good matchup and they don't necessarily match up well with an Oklahoma City, though I think they do match up well with Golden State. Like, I don't know. Like, I really want to see LeBron against Steph. I think that's our Magic versus Larry. And so I'm just holding out hope, I guess.
I personally really want to see Anthony Edwards against Steph Curry. To me, that is, like I said, that is must-see TV. That's the matchup I would rather see. So I'm hoping Minnesota and Golden State close out their respective series on the road in Game 5, which I can see both.
Here's the thing, though. Here's why I'm still hanging out a little bit of hope for the Lakers, is in my opinion, they could be up 3-1 right now. They blew Game 3 and they blew Game 4. Especially Game 4. Game 4 they had and they let it go, which maybe that's, a bow tie, put a wrap on it. They don't have a chance to come back. But I think 11 or 10 of these 16 quarters in this series, the Lakers have outplayed Minnesota. And I think Minnesota has just been the better closing team down the stretch. I don't know if they're overall the better team. I think that they are deeper, and Anthony Edwards has outplayed Luka, especially late down the stretch.
So I'm looking right now. The Lakers are listed as a 5.5 point favorite tomorrow in Game 5 back in LA.
Here's the problem for the Lakers.
Okay.
They are lucky they got 2 days off. And maybe that went into J.J. Redick's decision, which don't get me started on the NBA giving these guys 2 days off in the first round. I think it's absolute baloney and bullshit coddling, in my opinion. I don't like it at all. But you get 2 days off between Sunday and Wednesday for Game 5. But then, if they do win Game 5 and they win Game 6 on Friday and they win Game 7 on Sunday, they will then play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday. You get where I'm going here? They will play every other day unless they wrap up a series early against Golden State, which I don't see. I think it would last to 6 or 7 games. They would play essentially every other day until the NBA Finals. And I don't know if they can do that.
Yeah, I don't know either. We've seen LeBron come back from a 3-1 deficit before.
But that was when he was 32, 33, not 40. And again, I put zero blame of this series on LeBron. Call me a homer, call me a LeBron lover. I don't care. I think if a guy's doing this at age 40, he should be built a statue because we've never seen anybody do this. They got Luka because LeBron tried to make Anthony Davis the number one guy for 5 years, and AD didn't want to do it.
That's true. I think we all did we put? I gotta ask you this: did we put too much expectations on the Lakers right away? Because
I think the thing is, I always said it was about matchups, and I thought, silly me, I thought Minnesota was the best first round matchup they could have had.
See, I actually thought that Minnesota was one of the worst first round matchups they could have gotten, because of that size that the Timberwolves have with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. Did I like the Luka trade for the Lakers? Absolutely. But I think their season kind of hit their ceiling when they nixed the Mark Williams trade with the Charlotte Hornets.
And they know that they need a big, but the funny thing is, when LeBron is playing the center, like as I said, at times in the regular season, when they went on that stretch to get them here in the 3 seed, Josh, they were statistically the best defense in basketball.
Yes, I understand that. But look at how Dallas got to the NBA Finals last year.
You're right. I know. Daniel Gafford, what's his face? Lively, the other big, PJ Tucker, or
PJ Washington.
PJ Washington, yeah. I was thinking of the old guy from the Houston Rockets. I'm all mixed up on my names tonight. I've been fired up tonight. Those role players, along with Kyrie Irving, I get it. But also,
the Lakers don't have that type of big man.
They don't, but Luka was also special last year and throughout a lot of those games to get Dallas over the hump. What's his special moment this postseason? He don't have one. And by the way, I hate to be this guy because, yes, it was the right call, and they went to replay to get the right call, and I get it. Probably was a foul. But in real time, I'm talking about the end of the game when LeBron slaps his hand down on Anthony Edwards. Did you think that was a foul? Because Ed didn't even think that was a foul. He was complaining that the ball went out of bounds off LeBron. He thought it, not him. And then they used some Hawkeye sky cam no one ever heard of to overturn the call.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
I'm not saying that that's why the Lakers lost the game, but all I'm saying is if we're going to bitch about the Pistons and we're going to bitch about LeBron not getting the call, then we also need to bitch about Luka not getting the call that they came out on. We can't have a double standard. And so for all these people that are complaining about the physicality and, oh, my God, the Pistons got screwed, and, oh, my God, the Lakers got screwed. Like, again, I'm all for letting the players play. Let's let players decide, and let's not let free throws at the end of a basketball game decide who moves on in playoff series.
So I'm half with you, half not. I'll say it like that. I love that the players they're allowing the players to decide the games themselves. And I love the physicality of it. Don't get me wrong. It feels like we're kind of going back to the early 2000s or late 90s type of basketball.
By the way, real quick, did you see the statistics on points per game in these playoffs versus the regular season?
I did not.
In totality, so this is a total score between two teams. Total score points are down 18 points from the regular season.
Okay.
The interesting thing is the 3-point shots on average in an NBA game, there's an average of 75, so about 36, 37-ish for each team. They're only down to 71. So the 3-point shots are still going up about the same amount, maybe just a hair less. points per game are down significantly, in my opinion.
Okay. By the way, quick score update. It is 47-41 Bucks at halftime.
So Indiana's making a bit of a comeback. We'll see if they get that second home choose. I'm actually rooting for Milwaukee to win the game tonight. Give Indiana a little more of a challenge. Maybe be more beat up for our series.
Yeah. But anyway, so yes, I'm with you on that part. But at the same time, like, I hate that the Pistons did not get the call in Game 4 because you want to give your fans a good product where it's not every series is 3-1, 3-1, 3-1.
Well, can I respond two ways to that? Number one is I think we all kind of predicted the East to be like that, 3-1, 3-1, whatever the case may be. The other thing is we wouldn't have known it was a foul if they didn't release the stupid 2-minute report. Just don't release the report. What? Like it makes it so worse when you go, yeah, that definitely was a foul. Instead of like I would love it if you left it up to us and debate it. Well, could it have been a foul? Could it have not been? Because everybody's definition of a foul technically is different. There's nothing in the NBA rule book that specifically says in this action, this is a foul, because different plays mean different things.
That part is true. But in terms of Lakers Timberwolves, I want Minnesota to win this series, partially because I want to see Steph versus Anthony Edwards, like I've said, but also because it takes away part of that dream narrative that the NBA so desperately wants.
That I disagree with you, because I've always said I don't think the NFL rigs games. I don't think the NBA rigs games. I think the NBA, to be honest with you, the one thing I have not liked about these playoffs is when they do call fouls, they have been the wrong fouls. If you're going to let them play, let them play. That's my biggest problem with the NBA officiating is they either let them play and then, they're getting too physical, so now we're going to call every book. Watch a Denver Nuggets game. Jokic is going to hit like this 6 different times down low. They don't call crap. All of a sudden, a guy from the Clippers, just as an example, whoever you want to name, a Norman Powell, will go to the basket, get in, and they'll call a foul. Like, the double standard to me is ridiculous.
That part I agree with. I don't know what to tell you with these NBA playoffs. I really don't.
I've enjoyed them. And by the way, did you see ESPN's on pace to break their record for NBA playoff viewership? So what I'm telling you is there was all this talk about the NBA regular season and whether it was access and whatnot. People just don't give a damn about the regular season because the NBA has not made people care about the regular season, because this is a different sport, like I've been saying all year since October.
And it's proving that way in the Stanley Cup playoffs, too.